Best of r/Tales from Retail episode 12. So this happened last year around Christmas time, but I just found this subreddit and thought it would be perfect for it. I was working the till. It was only about 3 weeks into me working in the store, big discount department store. I was just coming up to the end of my shift when a customer, an older lady, not very friendly but also not terrible, at least not at the start, came up to the till with a basket. She got a pair of trousers for $9.99 and some other items, and her total came up to roughly $35.04. She gave me $35.05 and waited for her receipt. I gave it to her and also her penny change, which seemed to trigger her. See customer. Me. See, why are you giving me a penny back? I gave you exact change. Oh no, you gave me $35.05 when the total was $35.04. So that's your change, miss. See, no it's not, the total is $35.05. You must have done something wrong. I counted. I don't know what to say, miss. It will show you everything on the receipt. Rig. See, I know my total. You did something wrong. You're gonna get me in trouble. I want a refund. Miss, I can't process a refund in here. I am not trained to do so. Let me just show you the receipt and see, you can give me a refund. Now. You messed up. You can do anything if you really want to. At this point I was getting really stressed. The customer was shouting at me and kept telling me I did something wrong. And at that point I was very iffy about calling the manager on anything. I had another customer, bless her soul, waiting in queue, but she was later being served by another employee. I managed to get her to stop shouting at me just so I could show her the receipt, and pointed out that the trousers are $9.99. CO. I thought they were £10. That's fine. And just walked away with her stuff. My manager came up to me asking what had happened because she heard someone shouting, and instead of explaining I just started crying. And the customer that was waiting behind her started explaining that it wasn't my fault. Honestly, I just wanted to get that out of me. It's my first proper post, so sorry for any mistakes. TL. Doctor, customer made me cry because her trousers weren't £10. Thank you. Next. In 2014 I worked at a big box home improvement store. I was heading home for my lunch break, leaving the parking lot behind a customer who had just purchased a patio table that they had attached to the roof of their car. We both turned right and got onto an on-ramp to a major highway. As they were accelerating, the patio table flew off their roof and fell in the road no more than 20 feet in front of my car. I swerved and was able to make it on the highway, but it was terrifying. A few minutes after I returned from my break, a customer comes in to return the same model boxed patio table, purchased about 2 hours earlier. The box was beaten absolute shit and there was visible damage to corners of the table, through the box. I knew right away this was the guy who had almost killed me not even 2 hours earlier. He handed me the receipt and mumbled something about not noticing the damage. I called my manager, stepped aside with him and quietly explained the situation. He instructed me to process the return. I went back to the customer and processed the return. As I handed him his cash I said, I was behind you when that flew off the roof of your car and I almost died, but my manager told me to process your return anyway. Thank you. Next. DT equals dumb thief. M equals me. Lil warning, my grammar isn't amazing so I apologize if it annoys people. So you can get an idea of what my workplace was like. I used to work at one of the biggest retail stores in my area. By far it was the most popular and was always usually packed full of customers, but we were always short-staffed. Be it shop floor staff or till staff, we never had enough to man the store efficiently. And security is hardly a thing. We have one guard who just does nothing but watches football all day on his phone, but due to him being friends with management they don't care. Oh, and at my store, we have an area outside surrounded by tall metal fences covered by barbed wire for all our gas items, garden appliances and fence building materials. So I was working on Saturday, away from the customers near the door to the garden area, and I hear a man's voice. I turn to see a man wearing a tracksuit, jogsuit, but it's all battered and you could tell he was sketchy just by looking at him. He was looking around, nervous and just scratching his hand a lot. DT, hey man. Can you tell me where you keep all your electrical appliances? I need to buy things. Sure, what do you need specifically? We have them separated between house and DIY. DT, I need tools. Alright man, no worries. Just walk down there and right past the security guard, then look on the left shelf. It's hard to miss. DT, oh okay thank you. Also I saw some kid stealing over in the aisle down there. I knew exactly what this moron was doing, and the fact he thought it would work offended me, so I decided to take the bait. Oh really? Hold on a second, I wave over security. Yes, he was actually doing something for once. Hey, there's someone apparently stealing over there. Security goes down and checks and decides to go wait at the doors just in case he can catch them, not knowing this was BS. The DT walks away from me to the tools area and I start giggling to myself as I know we don't keep tools in the box. They were all display as the store hated having expensive items accessible to anyone, and the only thing in them are bags of sand to stop them being blown away by any wind. The door to the outside area was near the tools. I decide to watch the man and he doesn't seem to give a care in the world. He puts these sandboxes into a basket and walks out into the garden area, so I keep watching him, pretending to work, but he sits at the end near the fence pretending to be browsing, so I walk out and shout the security dude's name so the DT wouldn't notice, and I walk out and he was gone. Also I forgot to mention it's nighttime, so we take out our phones and look around, but we stop at where I last saw him and the security dude explains how we will have to call the police. That's until we hear a quiet ugh of pain and I turn to the fence to see some blood. Me and security slowly lift the light up to see the man stuck in barbed wire and instantly start laughing. Now don't worry, he wasn't bleeding bad, just enough to see a few bits. So security calls the police, ambulance and fire homies to get him down, and in the meantime I'm like, I'll have a chat with him. So what did you try to steal? And please don't lie to me, otherwise you will be in a lot more trouble. DT, tools. Ugh, you do realize we only keep sand in them. They're just displays, dude. This man looks me in the eyes and I could tell he just died inside, and then he wouldn't talk. He just switched between crying and struggling. In the end, he only came out with a few stitches and I sadly don't know the punishment. TLDR, man tries to trick me so he could steal some display boxes of tools that only had little sand packs in them, then tried to climb a fence, got stuck in barbed wire, realized he's bleeding, in pain and going to get arrested for stealing a box of sand. Edit 1. Sorry, the title was for a different story, but I remembered this gem and forgot to change it to something like dumb thief gets stuck in barbed wire and arrested for boxes of sand. Thank you. Next. Some background knowledge before the story begins. In Australia, we have a new policy on plastic bags where you can bring your own or pay for some. It all starts on register 12. I'm packing the bags for the customer I have when I see a regular come up to the conveyor belt. I know exactly who she is. She is the lady who always has flies in her bags. She never washes her bags, all she does is chuck them in the back of the car and lets them dry, leaving them smelly. Usually, it's only about 4 or 5 flies in one bag, but then they hang around the register for the entire time I'm there, so it can get pretty annoying. I let the first customer pay and send them off. How are you today, I say in a cheerful manner, trying my hardest not worry about the impending frustration as soon as I open one of the bags. Great hunch, she says with her raspy voice, not even looking up at me from her phone. She puts the bags right up near the scanner. She had all the bags in the cooler bag so it would be easier to bring in but harder to get them out. So I start getting myself ready. I start to unzip the cooler bag and that's when I start to hear buzzing at an alarming rate. At first I thought she had bees because of how bad I packed last time, but fair dinkum, I was wrong. The bag opens and the sound is echoing over the hum of the fridges. I grit my teeth and open the first plastic bag I pull out. I put it on the rack. I can see about 10-12 flies flying around and jumping from one side of the bag to the other. I open it to see what was inside, to be surprised with a clump of maggots on the bottom of the bag, filling the entire bottom. And with me opening the bag, an onslaught of flies flew out, but they're not just your average fly. They're the flies, the tiny flies that move at top speed and are extremely hard to kill. Some were getting stuck in between the lens of my glasses and my eyeballs. So what would you like me to pack into this bag? I say with sickness coursing through me. I don't know, you're the pack. I lifted the bag to present what she had on the bottom of it. Her face went pale and she told me to get rid of the bag. Seeing this slightly made me happy because now she would clean her bags. The only slight problem was I had to live with the flies flying around my register till my break. The bag was put into a separate bin that was immediately taken out to the back dock to be disposed of. This instance will be stained into my head for so long. Thank you. Next. I used to work for a national retailer that specialized in agricultural supplies. I had been there for approximately 4 months when I was taught how to make tire chains. To be clear, when I say tire chains, I mean tractor tire chains. Depending on the size of the tire, these chains can weigh upwards of 100 pounds per tire. The customer gave me his tire size, and I headed to the back to make his chains. I grabbed a cart along the way to put his chains in, as I knew they would be heavy. I started measuring out the chain needed, and cut the links. I spent approximately 30 minutes making the tire chains requested, but I didn't think that was a problem. When I finished, I loaded the cart and pushed the chains back to the sales counter. I wrote up an order slip for the customer and sent him to the register. I didn't work for a few days, but when I returned I was called into the manager's office. It seems the gentleman who received these chains called corporate to complain about me. I tried to imagine what I did to upset this man. Did I overcharge him? Did I make him wait too long? Did I make the chains wrong? No. The manager goes on to inform me that I sold this man 2 tractor tire chains but only billed him for 1. Since the chains were in the shopping cart, the cashier was unable to catch my mistake and only billed him for 1 tire chain. So, this guy saved nearly $150 and decided it was a good idea to complain about it. So one would expect that he came in and paid what he owed, right? No. For being a whistleblower he was given the other chain for free. Customer saves $150. I nearly lose my job. Sounds fair. I can guarantee you, I never let that happen again. Neither did I see that customer again. Thank you. Next. Not the most interesting story in this sub but it definitely annoyed me. For reference. Cost of characters is me and lady. Lady, hi, I want to exchange this product. Me, okay no problem, have you the receipt please? Lady, no I don't. Me, okay, can you tell me the approximate date you purchased it so I can check the system? Lady, let me just think for a minute. It was sometime in June. Me, okay, unfortunately our return period is 30 days after the purchase, and our digital records don't go further than that so I can't find your purchase. If you can find the receipt I will swap it no problem but I'm afraid without one and outside the return period I can't do much. Lady, well that's a bit ridiculous, who keeps their receipts that long? Can't you just swap it out? Me, I'm really sorry you can see our return policy here, points to big sign right in your face at the till, but as I said if you do happen to find the receipt I will exchange it for you. Lady, but like just let me swap it? Surely you can just scan the barcode on it and swap it for something else. Me, if I do that, my till number and name will be on the record receipt for an exchange and I'll get a warning for not following store policy for returns without a receipt. I'm sorry but I don't feel comfortable doing that. Lady, fine whatever, just give me the product back. And off she storms. Bye. I do understand that some stores are able to do an exchange without a receipt, but in our store we will only exchange our own brand products without a receipt and generally it has to be within the return period. Who even leaves a product sitting there to be returned for 4 months? And why do I feel like the bad guy? Thank you. Next. Okay, so I was ringing up this lady, and she was returning an item that is originally $20, but she paid $10 with a coupon. She picked out an item to exchange that was also just $10, so the exchange was for $0. Easy enough, right? So I do the whole exchange, have the receipts printed, and ask her to sign. And before that, there was this little exchange. Lady, don't I get $10 back? Me, no, you paid $10 originally for the item you returned, and then got this new item that was $10, so the price zeroed out. Lady, but I used a $10 off coupon. Don't I get the coupon back? Me, no, the coupon is a one-time use and already expired a week ago, so I don't have a new one that I could give to you. I can get my manager up to see if she could honor it though. So I called my manager because there was a long line and I wanted to ring others up, so I moved her stuff and receipts to a different register and my manager was up there shortly. She told her basically the same thing that I said, and this lady started swearing like saying so fucking disappointing. 2 other stores said they would do this, and my manager was just like sorry but we can't just give you money back that you never paid. Here's kinda the kicker. She stomped out all angry, but took the item that was already returned back and left the new item she purchased. She kept her receipts and new item, and my manager called and left a voicemail saying hey you left the new item that's yours here, and took the old one. Since the exchange went through, the old item is technically ours since it was returned and you taking it is theft. When the lady called back, she said I'm not fucking returning it, fuck you, and so we reported her for theft, and have her name/phone number from her rewards account. So basically, she got nothing new, nothing back for the return, and has been reported for stealing. Edit. Hi guys. I didn't expect this to blow up so much. I'm just gonna clarify a thing or two. I didn't report her for theft. My manager did. If it was up to me I probably would have just reversed the transaction and called it a day. I don't think she's getting reported to the police, just to our loss prevention people. I don't know where it carries from there.